Here's a controversial opinion that will definitely get some of you a little bit upset and maybe even turn this video off straight away. But I like the new reporting. It's not perfect, it's not great, but I understand why it's there. And the new modern reporting will be a polarizing thing, which I think I'm in by far the minority when I say that I like the direction they're going. I like what's happening. I'm not 100% sure they're there yet. I feel like there's still work to do, but I like the future of what it holds. And I think we have to remember that. And the biggest thing I keep thinking to myself is, if you're in the UK, you know about HS2, right? And if, like me, you are affected by H2 on a very regular basis because there's work being happening down the road from where I am. And actually, especially for my wife, for her to get from where we live to work, she has to go through HS2 work every single time that she makes that journey. And as you can imagine, it's frustrating. But something like HS2 is one of those things where, yeah, it's frustrating now, and yeah, we don't like disruption, we don't like having to go through it, but actually, we kind of have to, because we know, or at least we're being told, or at least we want to believe, that the future that it's building for us, or the future it's going to make, is going to be well worth the pain now. And I feel like that's what we're in now, because the future of modern reporting in the world of QuickBooks is actually a much better world than we're in now. The idea that the whole of the reporting area is going to be in one database, meaning that instead at the moment where your dashboards and your other solutions and tags and all this, that and the other are all in separate databases that were all being managed separately and all had different characteristics, and some of them you could click on here and some of them you couldn't click, some you could drill down, some you couldn't. The idea of modern reporting basically synchronizing everything up and giving us a coherent reporting platform throughout the whole of QuickBooks, and then adding on to giving us the ability to bring more external data in there so we can run proper KPIs for once. Like, the future of what the reporting platform can be to what we've got now, it's well worth going through the pain to get there. I just feel like the pain has been very much seen and very much noted, and I know a lot of people are not happy with the current position of where modern reporting is. But what I would say to that is it is far better than when it first came out. When it first came out, I completely understood. Like, there was no way I was moving. Every time that I went into a client's report and I wanted to get something done, the first thing I would do is switch back to Classic, and I'd be back into what I know and love and understood and could deliver the work that I needed to deliver. And I was completely with everyone else following that suit. Now though, I think that the modern reporting is good enough to give us, for the majority of our reports, the ability for us to stay in that environment, understand what's going on, figure out its limitations, figure out its positives, and try and work with it as much more. So that's what this video is going to be. Controversial, yes, but we're going to find a way between us of making sure that we stay in the actual modern reporting, because like it or lump it, we're in modern reporting going forward. So we might as well embrace it, we might as well understand it, and we might as well be giving our feedback now, because this is the time when we can make a difference. This is the time where they're building out and fleshing out what modern reporting is. There's resources behind it, there's people behind it, there's everything else. If we try and wait until it goes live to make the changes, I don't know how quickly they'll be implemented, right? But if we all think about it now, we all look and use it now, and we give constructive criticism at this point, got a better chance of succeeding. So roll the intro, let's get straight into this one, and let's see how many people in the comment section tell me I'm a crazy boy. Roll the intro. Hello, my name is Aaron Patrick and I am a chartered accountant, a certified UK trainer with a fancy new logo, that QuickBooks chap on the internet, head of accounts here at Boffix, your digital disruptor winner, and also, don't forget, your heroes behind the heroes winner for 2024. I'm also your friendly podcaster who goes live each and every Monday morning for Ask the Accountant. Now, we're just going to go straight into this. We're going to go and compare what it is we're talking. Now, what am I talking about this whole idea of we've got modern reporting and classic reporting? Well, if I jump into my client now, and full disclosure, I'm going to be using my advanced test client, right? I'm not using Plus, I'm not using any of the other SKUs, I'm using the advanced one because I feel like the advanced one is the one with the most bells and whistles, the one where modern reporting makes the most sense. Now, first of all, what is modern reporting? If I click into here and I look at this little icon there, it means that the modern reporting is going to be opened up by default. Modern reporting itself looks like this. Very, 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 very different to what we're used to, but a more modern approach. That said, for most of these options, I have the option at the very top to move to Classic View. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Classic View, but I'm going to be able to put them side by side. Okay, so going forward, and look, this is going to be messy, right? But we're going to try our best here. Going forward, I'm going to have two different versions for you. The left-hand side, I want to show you the new, brand new modern view. So the modern view is going to be on our left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, I'm going to have the classic view. Now, remember, this is a squished up version of both views. Ideally, I wouldn't have any of these views. I'd have this glorious view that we've got here, which I've got so much more time and space and everything else to go through, right? Like this here is the ultimate view. We're going to close that down and we're going to concentrate on having them side by side. So remember, they're going to be squashed. But I think straight away, the squashingness of them, so think about if you're in a position where you've got a smaller screen. I've been doing a lot more traveling lately than I've ever have done. And yes, the iPad, really, really useful for me. But it's not, I mean, that's actually, I tell you, like, that screen's huge, right? It's not your typical iPad. But sometimes I just have my iPad mini on me, right? Or sometimes I'm using this, right? This is such a smaller screen than I'm having, but this is the only screen I have available to me, and I can prop it up, have a little screen, got a little keyboard I can have with it. If I need, in a pinch, to get work done, I've been resorting to items like this, devices like this that aren't designed to have a big, big screen experience. So actually, having software that can adapt to that smaller screen is really important to me. And straight away, one of the benefits you'll see from modern view versus the classic view, I think I've got, just looking at it, I mean, maybe I have, maybe I haven't, but it feels like this one's smaller than this one, yet this one looks better. And in fact, I definitely have, haven't I? I've got to move you over a bit to here and move you there. I feel like that's more the same. It's hard to tell, right? But ultimately, look how much better this is working within its confinement, right? I'm seeing far more on screen. More than anything, I can see what my net operating income is here of 3,800. For me to get to that point, I have to scroll down on this one because I'm using all this space here, and this is being kind of squished over. This isn't kind of working in the right place. This is overlapping here. It was never designed for that smaller screen experience. Whereas here in this one we've got there, it works. I can feel, like I've got better, I haven't got this black grey bar thing. I haven't got this grey bar here. Like, it is working. And if I need to, I've even can have this little button there. I get even more screen. I can actually see the whole profit and loss on this screen. And it doesn't matter what I do here other than scroll down. And yeah, when I scroll down, I can see it and I am there. But any bigger than that, I wouldn't be able to, right? And that's where I feel like this is where the modern view starts to make more sense. It's starting to understand to me what's going on here. And then let's look at what functionality we have, because at the end of the day, it's functionality that we're after, right? Report period on the left-hand side. Thankfully, they listen to the feedback here, and the report period on the last side is pretty much the same now, right? And literally all dates to there. You can see as I scroll down, I pretty much have all of them there. When we first started, we didn't have the 365 days. We didn't have all dates. There was definitely items missing from there, but I feel like it's pretty much there. Next to it is the place where we can change our dates and go through from there. An accounting method is now there as a drop-down box instead of these there here. Now, yeah, I don't get display view and all these, that and the other, but I can press review, but I can press the display button, and then this is where I get to go through and display that. If anything, does it warrant a whole little pop-out screen? Probably not. I'd probably expect all of these solutions to be there, right, and compare and all that lot. But at the moment, the display there. Compare brings out much more information there for me. Very similar to what I had in this one. So I'm just getting like for like. And I'm able to kind of go through and put the same. And then same with filters as well. but in fairness, filters on this one was under my customize button for me to get to filter. So, you know, filter is one of the most important things we do, right? Like we're filtering all the time. That's how we use it. View options, I've got compact, normal, expand or collapse. So compact is where I'm in now. Normal does give me a very, very similar, in fact, pretty much identical to what I've got here, right? Like if I go back to normal here, I have that. I can't go back and forward on this one. All I can do is collapse and expand. So collapse basically just closes all of my, what do you call it out? Which I have the same here. I can collapse all, where I get even better, even more of a collapse, right? Like that's more useful than having the right hand side, and expand all from there. But I like my compact view, I'll be honest with you. I've gotten to love this. Functionality wise, still the same. If I need to change any of these bits at the top here, I've got a little pencil there, I can change that. Same as I am up here. And before I go into the general options, which is kind of where we mainly want to spend the time, I have the same ways of sending stuff out. So I've got my bought option like I've always had, and I export to Excel, PDF or CSV. Export to PDF, export to thing. Google Sheets doesn't seem to be enabled yet on this one. But that's because if I drop down the little arrows there, then I can run report, sync it to Excel, add to manage report, schedule report, email report, add note. They're all available there if I need them. And this print button as well is exactly the same as the print button there. And we're getting the same experience. And yet again, it adapts better to a smaller screen. Because now look, the smaller screen is I'm getting a lot more information here. I don't need this bit here. I can't read any of this. Like that's ineligible for me to understand if I've got this right or wrong. All I want to do is make the print. You know, yeah, I get some scaling options here. Smart break, fit all columns one page, portrait. I get the same options here, but yeah, I go there. But straight away though, I can see the buttons are available to me. I go there. I have lost the ability to email directly from here. Not sure why you wanted to email there when you could also email from there. And in this case, if I want to email it, I can just email the report directly there. I believe if I press email on both, they're going to come up with the same page. Oh no, I said email. Huh. So yeah, I never noticed that, but the email doesn't work anyway. But yeah, we get the same options. Look. We can choose our format now. Oh, we didn't have the option. Oh, we could. You could hit. No, we couldn't. It was PDF only, but now we get to choose our format. Choose our format name, file name, should I say. Stick a message in there, and off to the races we go. So, yeah, you know, they're subtle changes, but they are changes nonetheless. When it comes to actually dealing with our data, it's exactly the same. I can click into anything and I drill down. And on both sides, you'll see I'll drill down. On the right hand side, it will automatically go back to our modern view. I can switch to classic view and see the classic version of it, but you know, I don't think I need to. If I, you know, I'm personally staying in there. Again, here we get exactly the same information. We are seeing it. It is, you know, if anything, there's a little bit kind of more options here in terms of the way that it's kind of laid out. I've got more options. Like I can't change any of these here, but on every one of these I can move these up and down, right? I know they're exactly the same, but I can move these up and down. I can't on this one. I don't have that functionality. For me to sort, click in the top here, I only have, well, I can go through this and do it from there, but that's not more clicks than sorting through there, right? So I do get better options. Back to summary report works on both of them. So on both of them, I can go back there. Now this is definitely one of the frustrations we need fixing ASAP. Every time I'm in a report, it's asking me, do I want to save and come out of it? And I do have to go exit without saving. We need to get rid of that button. That button should not be there. But I'm now back in my classic view. I'm in my classic view. So that experience pretty much the same, right? Now, if I go into the general options though, this is where, and customize on here, this is where we definitely get the biggest differences. So first of all, unrealized gain or loss, we can turn on and off. We could turn it off there, it was just a tick box. Number format, we can still have the same options as I had before. So I can divide by 1,000, set things. So I've got the same functionality there. I can still show my company logo. I can put the reports on. Again, this is all very, very, very similar. Footer, I have the option to kind of do exactly the same. The only difference is I can align it now, which I couldn't do before. So that's a nice one, isn't it? And section titles, we had this was kind of a big update that we came through. They're not here. If I can remind myself where they are, I think they're in this bit here. Edit titles there, yeah. So it's the same, just in a different place. And to be honest, makes more sense to kind of just within that section. A lot of people didn't know that even existed, right? So familiar, like having this sort of thing better is a good thing for everyone. This is where you do get more filtering options, because what happens here is you can choose your filter at the top here. So let's say customer, and you can say equals and everything else, and you can select what they're going to be, whatever it needs to be, blah, blah, blah. And then you can add another condition. Whereas here, it was always, yeah, I could kind of select my customer and I could go through from there and I could put that in, but then I wasn't able to put another condition in. Now I can add more conditions, put them all in there. I can definitely fine tune the data a lot more than I've ever had done before. And that's really important. That's the benefit of doing this, right? That's the benefit of having this here. Also, if I was to go to a different type of report, then again, the big frustration is this pop-up here needs to go. If I go back and let's choose a different report, one I can do a little bit more on. So I go sales by customer detail, sales by customer detail. We start definitely seeing a different view, this one, right? So they've opted more of the name gets more of these grey lines. It's a personal preference if you like that or don't like that. But it's this group by functionality that this is why this is worthwhile, right? So in here, when I customize and I go to group, this is my only options. I can choose what the group's going to be. I can change columns, but that's more going to, but I can't group by anything else. Here, I can do subgroups. So depending on which hierarchy I've got, for the first time ever, I now can do subgroups. So you'll notice that customer now have just customer, and then they have another one that I can go through. And this means I can really say how I want this to go. If I want them to be in the payment methods, or I want them to be by the different classes, I've got that opportunity to go down deep down. I never had that in this old view, the classic view. Now I have the functionality to go in and start adding these things, and I can edit the group calculations. I never had any of that functionality here. All I had was, well, yeah, I could change the, what do you call it, and then it could kind of go in here, and then that was it, right? Now I can start thinking about, well, what my group, do I want quantity? Do I want to see the total, the average, the percentage? Suddenly I can start building much more in-depth reports and really get to the difference and find business clues and try and find ways in which I can help the client and look at trends and all that sort of stuff. I never had any of this in the classic view. Oh, so the group by is by far my favorite part of it. The fact that we now have the opportunity to add subgroup, edit the calculations, like we've got so much more options there. Columns, same as we had before, we can, but we also have more columns than we've ever had. So again, if I went to customize, looked at the columns, this was our column list. I can see there's a lot of columns there, but now look at it. I literally have every column. I've got accounts, I've got customers, I've got all these, I've got even more. I can go down to all these types of columns, way more than I had on this one. And they're in a better way to find them as well. I even have a search bar. The search bar alone is worth its weight in gold, right? Like I don't have a search bar over here. So to try and find the columns, to put them in there. Once I'm in there, I can then reorder them as much as I want to. And there's kind of like your quick ones here. So even if you liked having these columns there, you can find the quick ones there. Like, promise you, this is far, far, far more powerful than this has ever been. We have a pivot table for the first time as well. We can create a pivot table directly in here. I don't have a pivot table option on here. So I can create a pivot table and go, right, I want my customer along the side, and I want my date along the top. Where's date gone? Oh, don't worry about it. I can type the date in if I want to. So I can do it by month, and I can put the amounts as values. And suddenly I've got this pivot table being built directly in here. I can't build a pivot table in the old classic view. I cannot do it. It's impossible to do without exporting it to Excel, putting it through from there, and doing it all manually. Now I can have it here. And as always, if I press save as, or if I try and exit, it's going to want me to you know, save it as. So again, I feel like this bit needs work. This is frustration. I understand that. I get people's frustration with that. But everything else is working as intended, in my opinion, and exactly how we want it to be. Like, this is a better experience. I'm seeing a report here that I cannot generate on the right, the left-hand side and the right-hand side. They're completely different. And this is so much more useful for me in some respect. Okay, I don't have much data in this particular client. Well, actually, no, sorry. If I do all dates here. Yeah, that's useful, but this is way more useful in some respects, right? I can see here that, you know, why am I not getting the repeat work from this one to here, or whatever it's going to be, right? Like, what is the reason why this is coming through and that one isn't? Like, they're the bits that I can now start using this pivot table information to the best of its ability. And I get chart view as well. So if I wanted to, I can turn this report into a chart. Got all these options for us. I can make it into a KPI. I can put a stat bar, I can put a trend line in. I can do it by month. I can, you know, I've got these options to build up this information. Again, I don't have a chart option on the right hand side. Classic View didn't give me that, yet this one does. When it comes to saving, yeah, very, very similar. So I do the save as function here. I can add this to a group. I can add this to a group on there. I can say if it's available to others or not, and I can put this in. But basically, let's do Bob and Bob Old. I say save. Both of these now are going to be in our custom reports area. We've got Bob Old and Bob there. Clicking on the edit takes us to here, where I can then change kind of the bits like that. Click on edit here though, takes me to the report, so I can edit the report, right? It's more user friendly. Coming out here. Action wise, I now have the options on that side to do them, and on the old one, old ones action wise, I could export as Excel, a PDF, export, add to management, delete. Now get to create schedule, add to reports, run report, sync data in Excel, add chart to management reports, delete it, export as PDF, export as Excel, and export as CSV. So I'm getting more options here, right? Like, I didn't have that one. All right, create schedules now, a different screen. So we have to learn how to use this screen, fair enough. Whereas before we'd edit, set schedule. So I believe we get the same options. Look, what's the workflow name? What's the name of the schedule? We don't need to put a name on this one, in fairness. What's to do? We want to schedule and send. We want it to go on this date, so we can do a start date to when it's going to go, how many times it repeats, when does it end, does it repeat, end or not, and then we get to choose what the email is going to be, and we get to put that information in there from there, and then save and turn on, save and close. That will schedule, so they'll automatically go out to wherever they need to go out to, and we get a little disregard on that one. But again, the fact that I can add this to management reports means that I can go in here, and for the first time ever, I can drop this down, add to management reports, create a new one called test, press add. Let's open up those management reports. And if I preview the report now, I've got the chart in there. I couldn't have a chart in there in the old one. Like, I didn't have that functionality. I wasn't able to build that in. But now I can. And yeah, you've got to play around with it, you've got to get it right and everything else. But once you've got that management report set, then the client's going to love that, right? They're going to love the fact that they can bring that data in and having to do that. And we don't need a third-party solution to be able to run it from all. And it kind of makes the Performance Center pretty much redundant for me, because I don't use a Performance Center now. I go into any standard report that I want, and now I can create a chart. And up the top here, I can create my own reports. When I create a new report here, I don't get the option to create in the classic view anymore, right? They're all going to come through as normal ones. And if I press blank, create, new, create new report, blank, create, you're not going to have the option to go back to the historical view. Like, that won't happen. You don't get that option, right? Whereas now, in this new one, I can create a report from scratch. I can start adding and put things in. I can make charts. I can make anything else. I've got a whole tool set to make the reports that I need. So yeah, the manual report, the new modern reports are polarizing. I get it. I get why people are frustrated in some circumstances. But at the end of the day, they're pretty cool. And they do the job that we need them to do. They do everything, really, that we want from these sort of reports. And because we've got the new reports, suddenly we're getting these custom report builders, meaning we're getting new reports being generated to us quicker than ever before. Fixed asset list, invoice approval status, revenue recognition reports. Because every one of the new things being built is being built on the back end of the same report structure, we're able to add these reports. And we've seen a future where these reports, these KPIs and all that sort of stuff, they're going to be able to come on here, because on here is basically the same reports that we've got in the back end. So we can generate reports, we can add and remove reports going forward. You know, there's a future where we can add our own reports directly to here. We can have control of it, because ultimately the dashboard is being run by the same report platform that everything else is run by. The fixed assets, there's only just added. The revenue recognition, it's only just added. All of these, they don't need to build a whole new report element to it to then roll that out later. They can use the same report engine and run it there. And the sooner that we get to a point where we're on the new reports forever, the better it's going to be for the thing. I know that's frustrating in the world. I know that that's going to be really upset for certain people. But that's why we need to be playing with these reports now. We need to be working with these reports, because ultimately it's these reports that we're looking at now that are going to be the future of what QuickBooks is. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Am I crazy? Do you think that there's anything else I missed out on? I know there are certain areas and issues that are problematic to people. That pop-up, for example, frustrating, that needs to go away, but we need to get that feedback, right? That feedback needs to be really heard loud and clear so that we go through it. And I know there's some niche areas where we can't quite generate the same report as we did last time, and we need to be able to figure that out, and I'm completely on board with those sort of scenarios. But I think for the vast majority of people, the new reporting platform is way better than what we had before. And that's a good thing. That's a positive thing. And we need to embrace that, because we know that if we can move everything to the new reporting platform, then some of the cooler things, some of the new things, some of the things that are really going to benefit ourselves and our clients are only a tip away. You know, they're close enough for us that we can start touching them, right? We're close enough that we can start actually interact with them. But until we get to that point, until we have that scenario, we're always going to be one step behind and one step removed. And I just wish that we could find a way for all of us to get to that bit earlier and get to that bit easier. But the more we fight it, the more we push it back, the harder it's going to be. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What have I missed? Is there anything else out there that people are using this reports package for that I'm just completely missed and blindsided for and not seen? I'm struggling to find enough arguments that we shouldn't be moving to the modern reporting. And let's be honest, we are moving. So what we need to do is find those niches, find those areas, work together, find solutions for them. Hopefully QuickBooks and Intuit can figure out ones that can fix us as well. But thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and all that sort of stuff. If you want to be the first to know about what happens in the world of reporting and how reporting is going to be better for everyone else going forward, you're already in the right place. So make sure you like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. And I will see you in the next video. Bye for now. Hello and welcome to this new scene. Hello and welcome to this video. 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 Alright, let's get it set. Let's do this.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yes, I'm aware we go live every Monday.
The next generation is about everyone else that missed it.
Yeah. So current. All right, you've told us what you love about the industry, but what would you change about the industry?
Where do I start?
During that period of time, where did everyone turn to? their accountant, their advisor, their bookkeeper, and you all did phenomenal work for small business.